Who are you?
I don't really know.
So what do you think of that, Philip?
Yeah, I think. You need something.
You know what? I have a question.
Yeah?
Is Fast and Furious the greatest franchise of all time? Friends, today we ask the question, is Fast and Furious the greatest franchise of all time? Let's answer this question. And what a better place to start than rewatching all 10 Fast and Furious movies. Let's begin. The Fast and the Furious, 2001. Brief summary of the plot. Brian O'Connor, played by Paul Walker, goes undercover as Brian Spillner to infiltrate Vin Diesel's, Dominic Toretto's, ring of VHS thieves. Now, through this, shenanigans occur, and family is made. Now, as a starting point for the series, it is incredibly quaint considering the scale of the later movies. Probably the biggest thing to happen in this movie is a car dodging a train. Another thing to note about The Fast and the Furious is that this movie is basically Point Break. If Point Break were just two guys being dudes. What this film does for the audience and fans of the franchise, it establishes an incredible bromance between Paul Walker and Vin Diesel that we will see to continue throughout the series. Moving on.
Hey, true, bet that up for the track. You gonna take it to the top, and that's the truth. Truth hurts.
Too Fast, Too Furious, 2003. After being kicked out of the police force, Brian is now in Miami, where he will team up with Tyrese Gibson to take down some drug guy for the FBI. Now, an interesting thing about this film is Vin Diesel's problems with the script and why he has not returned. Vin Diesel has stated that the film was not Coppola-esque, hence his unwillingness to participate in the film, because of course, Vin Diesel only makes Coppola-esque films. Now, for the series overall, what is important about this film is the introduction of two characters, Roman and Tej, or Tyrese Gibson and Ludacris. These two are amazing. I love them. They're great. Two great guys. Love some great guys. Who doesn't love great guys? I love great guys. The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, 2006. Here we are introduced to a young director, Mr. Justin Lin. He will go on to direct the majority of the films in the series. Now, the plot. So we follow Sean, who is the oldest high schooler known to man, and he must move to Tokyo to live with his father after participating in some hijinks in the States. While he's in Tokyo, Sean gets involved in the underground drifting scene and gets involved with some guy from the Yakuza, and he eventually races them. It's a whole thing. But that's not important at all. What's important about Tokyo Drift is the introduction of the best character in the entire series, Han. Now, who is Han? He's a cool guy. Han's a cool guy. One of the best. One of the best of the cool guys. What does he do? He drives a car really well, pretty good at it, and he eats snacks. What's not to love about Han? He's incredibly charming, he's a bit quiet, but we love that. We love that. He's reserved, he knows what he's doing, he's Han. Fun fact, his full name is Han Solo. Now, when talking about Tokyo Drift, it's hard not to talk about the Vin Diesel of it all. As one might see when watching the film, Vin Diesel appears at the end of the film to race Sean in a drift battle. Now, here is where the interesting thing comes into place. To get Vin Diesel to do that cameo, the studio made a deal. Around about the same time, there were these movies coming out, The Chronicles of Riddick, starring Vin Diesel. And in order to bring Vin Diesel back into the fold, Vin Diesel was offered full ownership of the Riddick franchise going forward. Pretzels. I need to get some water. I don't have water. Perrier. One last thing I'll touch on about Tokyo Drift is the timeline of it all. This film, at the time, was set in the future of some time after 2006. Now, we eventually learned to know that Tokyo Drift takes place between 6 and 7, particularly because of a key event, the death of Han. But we'll get to that later. In this film, they introduce the coolest character ever and kill him off. It's sad, right? It's really sad. He's Fast and Furious 2009. Vin and Paul are back, and it is beautiful. You know, originally I thought this film was lackluster, it's a bit boring, but I really came around to it, like, third time watching it. It's just so nice to see Vin and Paul back together. Great guys. Han is back, and it's beautiful. It's incredible. It's immaculate. I love Han. Now, to break it up a little bit, let's talk about the man who will influence the rest of the Fast and Furious movies for the foreseeable future. Mr. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Everyone knows The Rock. He's a guy who, he did some WWE stuff and then he did movies. Everyone knows him. But for some, he is the breath of fresh air for the Fast and Furious movies. And some may even say that he made them good. I'm not going to say that. I don't believe that. But some say that. Now, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson appears in Fast 5. So let's talk about it. Fast 5, 2011. It is Fast 5, baby, and everyone is back. Not just the main characters of the previous films, but everybody. You got Han. You got Giselle. You got, Vin and Paul are great guys. You got Letty. No, you don't. She's dead. My fault. You got the two guys at the beginning of Fast and Furious. I don't remember their names. They're cool, I guess. They're in them every once in a while. And you got Roman and Tej. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson appears in this film as the villain, Hobbs. Luke Hobbs, I think. I think that's his first name. I don't know. Hobbs. And the crew is robbing a bank in Brazil. And we get the beginning of the insane Fast and Furious set pieces. In this film, the crew drives a bank vault through the streets of Rio. Beautiful. Amazing. Astounding. Perfect. Good film. Moving on. Fast and Furious 6, 2013. Letty is back and she's evil. She forms her own crew to, I don't know, man, virus, I don't know, anthrax. Beats me. Here we are introduced to a character, Luke Shaw. I think that's his name. Shaw. There's a ramp car. Here we got Hobbs. He forms the crew. I don't know, brings them back together. Dwayne Johnson's a good guy now, and it's a fine movie. It's just not great. You know, the set piece here is an insane runway airplane thing where they gotta drive the cars into the airplane. Now here is that fatal moment that we all knew was gonna come at some point, Han's death. And he is killed in the post-credit scene of this film by Jason Statham. There's an airplane. I don't know if you can hear it. It's pretty cool. Jason Statham kills Han, and he's playing Shaw's brother. Then I'm just gonna call him Shaw. It doesn't matter. Fast and Furious 7, 2015. Now, Justin Lin is no longer directing them now. We got our boy, James Wan, Mr. Aquaman himself. He's not Aquaman, he directed it, I don't know. Don't sue me. The family is back for one last ride, where they will fight Jason Statham, playing Shaw's brother. And we got some insane set pieces here, some tower jumps, car. And they jump a car out of an airplane. You know, they do some stuff. It's hard not to talk about Furious 7 without talking about what influenced this movie, and that is the death of Paul Walker. And this movie is an incredibly touching tribute to Paul Walker and what he's brought to the world and these movies. He's a great guy. Rides off into the sunset to a Charlie Puth and Wiz Khalifa song. It's beautiful. Fate of the Furious, 2017. Now here we have Charlize Theron playing the new bad guy, and she coerces Dom, Vin Diesel, to join her and help her out or whatever. So it's interesting, it's family gets family. But it's hard not to talk about Fate of the Furious without, you know, it originally seemed as though it would be kind of tasteless to continue the franchise after Paul Walker tragically passed away. But this film feels like it is a tribute to Paul Walker, more so than 7 ever was. This is about how the family has to deal with Brian no longer being there with them. He's off living his own life. All that's great, except it left more room for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to become a mainstay. You've probably heard of this, but Vin Diesel and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson do not like each other that much, or did not. And they had this whole contract written up about how many punches they could take in each scene, and then it'd have to be equal to the other guy. It's weird stuff. This film eventually leads to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson leaving the franchise, or at least the main franchise. Now, another thing about this film, Shaw is on the team. Now, this is a man who murdered Han. And to bring him into the family, bring him into the fold, it's disrespectful to that character that everyone loved. Just ask someone. Han's probably their favorite character. He's everyone's. He's everyone's favorite character. And there was a movement called Justice for Han. And it is the fact that this guy who murdered Han is now on the team. And it seems like they don't care about Han anymore. So we want justice for Han. It makes sense. That being said, moving on.
It's about drive, it's about power. We stay hungry, we devour. Put in the work, put in the hours, and take what's ours.
Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw, 2019. I mean, they Hobbs Shaw, they're off on their own. The Rock's no longer part of the big movies. He's now in his own sort of thing, trying to make his own series. And they do some fighting. Idris Elba, he's like this super guy. He has superpowers, which is weird. I guess what Vin Diesel does in these movies and what any character does in these movies could be seen to be like, oh, they're inhumanly strong, but now they're actually confirming that there are superpowers in this world, which is really weird, man. This movie is just friends of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and like Kevin Hart. What's he doing? That's weird. Kevin Hart, yeah, okay. Ryan Reynolds? What? Stop. And Hobbs and Shaw, you can really feel the absence of what Vin Diesel... What Hobbs and Shaw does, it shows us what Vin Diesel brings to these movies. And it's the core, the heart of these movies, the family of these movies. Family is incredibly important to these movies and Vin Diesel. And to have Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson doing this all on his own, it really shows how integral family is. I know it's a joke or whatever, family, but it's really important to these movies. And without it, it's just like some dumb, low-tier Marvel movie. Moving on.
I'm a lane switcher, big tank bank filler, real killer, die for my gang member.
F9, The Fast Saga, 2021. Han is back, and boy is it wonderful. You love him. He's a great guy. I mean, what's important about this movie? John Cena plays Vin Diesel's brother. No more Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I mean, he was fun sometimes, but, became a bit overbearing. Helen Mirren gets to drive a car. That's cool. This movie feels like a Fast and Furious movie. Like what the ideal Fast and Furious movie is. This movie feels like that, man. And they brought Justin Lin back to direct it. Great director, love him. I've seen it probably 7 times. It's not an overestimate. Probably an underestimate, if I'm being real. And it's so much fun. Movies are fun, man. And Cargo to Space. Alright, that's 10 Fast and Furious movies. All 10 of them. Now, how about a ranking? At the bottom we have F4, we have Hobbs and Shaw, we have F2, F1, F8, F6, F3, F9, F5, and F7. Now I wrote a little something down here, so if you don't mind, I'm going to read it off real quick. One of the most important takeaways from these movies is family. Whether they're your biological family or a family of friends you've made along the way in your life, family is important, and Vin Diesel makes sure you remember that. Anytime any character cracks open an ice-chilled Corona and utters these 3 simple words, "Salud mi familia," I break into tears of joy. It's a very beautiful and wholesome experience watching these films. Vin Diesel will do anything to save his family, and his family would do anything to save him. It's incredible. Alright, in conclusion, our question, is Fast and Furious the best franchise? No, it's not. The consistency is all over the place. Some of them are good, some of them are not so good. If Fast and Furious isn't the greatest franchise, what is? It's Mission Impossible. It's obvious. It's Mission Impossible. Great movies, good movies. Tom Cruise, great guy. Maybe, I don't know, Scientology, whatever.
So, Fast and Furious is the greatest franchise? No, Mission Impossible? Yeah. Yes, it is.